Alright people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ricardo. So today I'm going to be talking about the hard facts of migration. There are a lot of things about migration that people just don't speak about. And there are certain things that you just won't know until you've experienced it yourself. So today I'm going to be shedding some light on those stuff based on my experience. Alright, so the first thing I'd like to talk about, that feeling of starting over. Trust me, this is a very challenging process. It's almost like a leap of faith because you're leaping off into the unknown. You're not sure what to expect. And yes, you are starting over. You're moving to this new country. You're either one, gonna live with family until you can find enough money to move out on your own, or you're gonna be looking for a new place to rent. You're looking for a place to rent in these unfamiliar areas. You're starting a new job. Chances are you're starting this job and you're probably gonna be getting trained over in this job. Even if you have a wealth of experience from your country that you're migrating from, starting a new job in a new country, they're basically gonna be treating you as if you know nothing. And you have to just accept that. You have to go through the system, go through the due process, learn, be trainable. And sometimes it can be frustrating because you might feel as if they're telling you stuff that you already know. But it's just a part of the process and it's exactly what it is. You're really and truly starting over life. A lot of times people see other people migrate and they think, yeah, they migrate to a new country, they're rich and happy now and life is great. That's not exactly how it works. Transitioning and settling into a new country, it takes a while. I would say it takes a minimum a year to really feel settled in a new country and feel comfortable in your environment and in your setting. And I think there's a lot of things surrounding transitioning into a new country that people just don't really focus on and we take it for granted. Okay, number 2, the feeling of depression or feeling homesick. So oftentimes immigrants, they'll move to a new area. I mean, when you just move there, you tend to have this feeling of you miss home, and sometimes you genuinely feel as if you don't want to go back home, especially when you move to this new country. Things aren't going exactly how you planned it. You probably got a new job and the job is not really going exactly how you expected, or you could have migrated to a new country and you don't have a job, because sometimes you migrate to a new country, you won't transition into a new job right away. You may have to be doing some job which you're not really comfortable with, and it's easy to want to just run back to your comfort zone. It's easy to want to just run back to what you're used to because that's what you're used to. It's easy to feel depressed and lonely in a new country, especially if you have migrated by yourself, because I mean, you're in this lonely environment. You don't have your normal coping mechanisms at your disposal. You don't have your friends around you. You don't have the leisure activities that you're used to. And you're having to find new ways of how to cope. You're having to find new ways of how to deal with stress. You're having to find new coping mechanisms, so to speak. Honestly speaking, the feeling of not having like family or friends close to you, it does get lonely at times. It will get lonely at times, and I think it's a mindset that will allow you to get through these times as an immigrant new to a country, because you might feel as if, okay, you want to go back home because this is just not working out. However, keeping in contact with your family from back home, speaking about your experience, trying to make new friends, trying to be sociable with people at work, all of these little things, they will help your transition. They will help quell this feeling of being lonely. They'll help quell this feeling of wanting to go back home, because I can tell you, it's normal, especially when it comes down to the winter time. When it comes down to the winter time and you're getting those early onset of nights and you're getting the cold nights and the cold gray days and the snow days or the rainy days, trust me, it can feel depressing. It can make you feel as if, why did I come here? Why did I do this to myself? Why am I here? But oftentimes what I always look at what the goal is. Why did I migrate in the first place? Did I migrate for a better life? Did I migrate to elevate myself? Did I migrate to get better opportunities? Most people migrate for one of those reasons, apart from the people who just run off. But most people, progressive people, they migrate for a good reason. You just have to be goal-oriented, task-driven, and just stick to it, because it won't feel like this forever. And just tell yourself that you've done this for a greater purpose. Number 3, surviving outside of your comfort zone. Naturally, you're coming from your home country, you're used to. You just jump in your car, you drive to work, you park wherever you feel like. You don't have to pay for any parking. It's just carefree, it's relaxed. Speaking from a Jamaican perspective, it's carefree, it's relaxed, there's no pressure. Transitioning to a first world is very different. I had to condition my mind to be going on public transport daily, just because driving to work from a financial point of view just never made sense. It was too costly to be driving to work in the areas where I worked, because parking and charges to drive to work would be running me way too much money, which just didn't make sense. So having that mindset of trying to transition back, it's almost as if you move to this new country, which is supposed to be first world country, land of more opportunities, but you feel as if in your mind it kind of feels like you're stepping backwards because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're not able to do certain stuff with the level of freedom like you used to. But at the same time, learning how to survive outside of that comfort zone will make you a stronger person. And for me, I turned to stuff like the gym. The gym was like a big coping mechanism for me. Talking to my friends, of course, on WhatsApp, keeping in contact with my family, loved ones, partner. Those stuff are what would keep me grounded. And you need those stuff. You need those stuff to transition in these new countries, because you're transitioning to a new place with a new culture, new people, new dynamic. There's no friend next door that you can just run and go knock on them door and say, yo, what go on? There's none of that. People here are just tunnel vision. People here are just setting their own mind. They're on focus on their own goals, and you have to do the same, but you also have to strike a balance with your social life in order to navigate these unfamiliar territories. It's of utmost importance, honestly. Number 4, a very important thing for me, the importance of credit. Honestly, I didn't really know much about the credit system or anything really relates to credit before moving to a new country or before transitioning to first world. Because in Jamaica, they never check my credit yet. I don't have no credit score in Jamaica. I'm sure I don't have a credit score. You want a loan, you go to the bank and them just look on your pay slips. Oh, you work at so and so, you make X amount. Okay, loan granted. Boom, full stop. I want to rent a place. Okay, where do you work? I work at such and such. Okay, yeah, you can get it. That was it. In first world, it doesn't work like that. Credit is literally everything. Your credit score is almost like, it's like a label. It's like a label placed on you to basically tell your status in society. It basically dictates what you can and cannot afford. So I got a shock of my life when I was trying to rent a place and the realtor agent asked me for my credit score. I'm like, why do you need my credit score? Why does it matter? That's when I found out that actually this credit score is actually really important. But the thing is with the credit score, which a lot of immigrants struggle with, is the fact that when you just transition to a new country, they don't know anything about your financial background or your credit history. So naturally, you're starting with a relatively low credit. And starting with a relatively low credit, obviously, the banks and the lenders and the realtor agents and all of those places, they just won't trust you, which is a fair assessment. They have no basis on which to stand on. So you find that new immigrants oftentimes will struggle to rent a place on their own. You'll struggle to get a car loan. You'll struggle to get a credit card, or they'll give you what is called a secured credit card, which you'll have to basically make a deposit of the value of that credit card in the event that you can't pay them back the money. That's just how it is for new immigrants. And a lot of those stuff I just did not know. So that is a challenge that new immigrants face when it comes on to getting stuff via credit. And getting stuff via credit is of utmost importance. You can't go around it. And you want to have these credit cards because using these credit cards and keeping the credit card in a good status is what builds your credit. And the more you build your credit, then the better off you are. On the topic of credit cards, I was recently educated on the term credit utilization, which is how you use your credit card. Because to be honest, when I was living in Jamaica, or prior to gaining this knowledge, I used to think, okay, if you have a credit card, let's say the credit card is $1,000. Once you use the credit card, pay the bill on time, you're fine. Even if you max out the credit card or you use half the credit card, quarter of it, 70% of it, 80% of it, it doesn't matter. But once you pay your bill on time, I thought that's fine, that's okay. That is very far from the truth. How you use your credit card and the percentage of the credit card balance that you're using is of utmost importance. It actually affects your credit. The bank wants you to use 30% of your credit. 30% of your credit card balance. If you have $1,000 credit card, they want to see you using $300 off that credit card and be paying it back on time. I did not know that, because what I realized is that when they did like a hard credit check, I did a hard credit check and a soft credit check. A hard credit check, basically, after a hard credit check, your credit score goes down. A soft credit check doesn't affect your credit score. So after a hard credit check, they can see your credit utilization and they can tell you that, okay, this is what is contributing to lower credit, or this is what is affecting your credit. Because even though you've paid all your bills on time, that's not just it. You have to use a specific percentage of your credit card and also pay it on time. So stuff like that I did not know prior to moving to a first world country. Another thing to also note is that don't be going around checking your credit everywhere multiple times, especially if they are doing hard checks. It's not worth it, because each time they do a hard check, your credit score goes down, and that's not good for you. Number 5, myth that people who migrate are rich. Look, migration to a new country, it's a very costly venture. Trust me, it's a very costly venture. Whether you're migrating to go straight into your profession, or you're filing for yourself for places like Canada with express entry or whatever it may be, regardless of the route you take, migration is a very costly process. And you find that because you're migrating to these new countries and you're starting over, you're having to spend a lot of upfront cash, whether it's to rent a place, whether it's to acquire a new car if you desire so, or if you're in a financial position to do so. You probably won't be paid for the first up until the end of the first month if you have a job already. If you haven't secured a job yet, you're having to survive on your savings, depending on your situation. If you're living with family or a partner or whoever it may be, and chances are if you migrated and you're living with family, after a while the family are gonna be like, yo, what you do? You understand? They're gonna be asking you questions. What are you doing? Are you gonna do something or not? Because in the first world, everybody works, everybody have bills to pay, and the bills are surmountably high. So I think there's this notion that once you live in foreign, you're rich because your currency higher and you just have money. You live in England, yeah man, a pound you spend, you're rich. Or you live in Canada, or you live in America, currency is higher than Jamaica, naturally you're rich. To be honest, some people are living in first world and they're living a lower quality of life than some people in Jamaica, or a lower quality of life than what they were living before. And that's just the facts. You understand? That's just the facts. Because you're moving to these new countries and you're starting over from scratch, you might find that you have to creep before you walk. You have to start slow and gradually work your way up until you get to a point where you're comfortable. But I think sometimes people just think once you migrate and move to these new countries, you just automatically just have a money tree in your backyard and you're just fortunate all of a sudden. But it's a process. It's a process. It can take a year, it can take 2 years, it can take 3 years to really and truly feel comfortable in these new countries. And if you're thinking about, say, buying a house or anything, yes, you might can do it faster than in the country you're moving from, but it's still a process. It's not a case where when you move to these countries, it's a bed of roses and these things just fall into your lap. You still have to work hard to get these things. But the beauty of these countries is the fact that there are more opportunities to do so and there are more avenues to do so, which is the majority of the reasons as to why people choose to migrate in the first place. But it's not that we are rich when we migrate, it's just that we've given ourselves a better shot by moving to a country with more opportunities. And if there are more opportunities, then naturally you'll be better off. Number 6, weather challenges. Honestly, people say, yeah, after a while you get used to the cold. I've left Jamaica, 5 years now? I can't really say I get used to cold. Wouldn't really say me get used to cold, because when it's cold, I still not go outside in our shorts. You won't catch me outside in our shorts in -5 or them kind of thing. So I wouldn't say I get used to cold. But what I've grown to do is I've grown to become more tolerant of these weather changes, and I've adapted to coping with them better. If it got too cold, we just wear a jacket. You understand? We just wear a jacket If it's too hot, me just don't wear a jacket. It's simple. But I can't really say the snow still doesn't bother me. It's still annoying. That will never change. Shoveling snow outside will always be annoying. Taking out a snow blower to go blow snow on a winter morning is always annoying. And salt in your driveway and all of those stuff. It's still frustrating. And every winter I always feel like, John, why may I do this? Should I Jamaica up on the beach? But at the end of the day, you have to pick your struggle. It won't be a bed of roses. It won't. Migration comes with its challenges. And you find that you just have to find ways to cope with them. Find ways how to make life easier for yourself. Alright people, this concludes my hard facts on migration. Let me know in the comments if any of these facts relate to you or if it's anything that you're familiar with or you experienced it before. Don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, guys. Until next time, I'm out.